Good evening, dear listener. I am Eerie, and I have a story waiting just for you. Wrap yourself in your blankets, let your pillow cradle your head, and breathe deeply. We are going on a journey tonight, to a place of comfort and wonder, where the rhythm of life is slow, predictable, and deeply, deeply soothing. Welcome back, dear listener. Tonight, a story awaits you, a journey into the realm of dreams. You've been waiting for this, haven't you? Let's begin, shall we? First, settle into your bed, your sanctuary, your nest of warmth and softness. Feel the coolness of the sheets against your skin, the gentle embrace of your pillow beneath your head. Find that perfect position, the one that whispers to you, "Stay, rest, you are home." Now, let's take a deep breath together. Inhale slowly, deeply, filling your lungs with the quiet of the night. Hold it just for a moment, feeling the heaviness in your chest. Then exhale slowly, releasing any tension, any worries, any thoughts that don't belong there. Again, deepen and hold slow out. Feel the rhythm, the dance of breath. It's just you and the night now. Focus on the weight of your body, the softness of the mattress beneath you. Feel the warmth seeping into your muscles, relaxing them, making them heavy, so very heavy. Listen. Can you hear it? The sounds of the night are all around you. The soft patter of rain against the window, the distant hoot of an owl, the gentle hum of the wind as it dances with the leaves. Let these sounds wash over you, like a lullaby, like a blanket of tranquility. You are safe here, dear listener. You are at peace. Now, let the story begin. You are Orvaldi, the Fjord guide, and you stand on the cold, wet dock, the salt spray of the fjord kissing your face like a familiar friend. The air is crisp, carrying the scent of pine and the faint tang of fish from the morning's catch. You are wrapped in your thick woolen cloak, the weight of it familiar and comforting, the rough texture a gentle reminder of the many journeys it has sheltered you through. You hear the distant cries of seabirds echoing off the steep cliffs that cradle the fjord. Their calls a steady, eerie melody that dances with the rhythm of the waves. The light is soft and diffuse, the sun just beginning to peek over the mountains, casting long shadows that stretch and play across the water. You feel the steady, familiar grip of your oar in your hand, the splintered wood smooth against your palm, a testament to the many miles you have guided your vessel through these treacherous waters. You step into your small, sturdy fjordscape, the boat rocking gently beneath you, the sound of water lapping against the hull a soothing lullaby. You are nestled in the safe, familiar space, the scent of tar and wood filling your nostrils, the taste of the cold, salty air sharp on your tongue. You begin to row, the rhythm steady and sure, the oar cutting through the water with a quiet, satisfying hiss. The fjordskapr glides smoothly over the water, the familiar motion cradling you like an old, dear friend. You guide your vessel past the towering cliffs. The rock face a mosaic of green moss and gray stone, the water below a deep, dark blue that swamps the light. You see the sun glinting off the water, the light dancing and shimmering like 1,000 tiny stars. The sight a comforting, familiar spectacle that never fails to fill you with awe. You hear the cry of a lone seabird echoing off the cliffs, the sound a haunting, beautiful melody that blends seamlessly with the rhythm of the waves. You feel the cold, salty spray on your face, the sensation a familiar, comforting reminder of the many journeys you have undertaken. You taste the salt on your lips, the flavor sharp and tangy, a testament to the wild, untamed beauty of the fjord. You see the mist rising off the water, the fog a soft, ethereal veil that dances and swirls with the movement of the waves. You are safe, protected, held in the steady, familiar embrace of the fjord, the world around you a gentle, kind place. You guide your vessel through the narrow channel, the cliffs looming on either side, the water a deep, dark green that swallows the light. You hear the distant roar of a waterfall, the sound a steady, comforting rumble that blends seamlessly with the rhythm of the waves. You see the spray from the waterfall catching the light, the droplets shimmering like tiny, dancing jewels. The sight a breathtaking, awe-inspiring spectacle that never fails to fill you with wonder. You feel the steady, familiar grip of your oar in your hand, the splintered wood smooth against your palm. The sensation, a comforting, grounding reminder of the many miles you have guided your vessel through these treacherous waters. You taste the cold, salty air, the flavor sharp and tangy, a testament to the wild, untamed beauty of the fjord. You hear the cry of a seabird echoing off the cliffs, the sound a haunting, beautiful melody that blends seamlessly with the rhythm of the waves. You guide your vessel into the calm, sheltered waters of the inner fjord, the cliffs falling away to reveal a wide, open expanse of water. You see the sun glinting off the surface, the light dancing and shimmering like 1,000 tiny stars. The sight a comforting, familiar spectacle that never fails to fill you with awe. You feel the steady, familiar motion of the fjordskapr beneath you, the boat rocking gently with the rhythm of the waves. The sensation, a comforting, grounding reminder of the many journeys you have undertaken. You are Orvaldi, the fjord guide, and you are safe, protected, held in the steady, familiar embrace of the fjord. The world around you is gentle and kind. The beauty of the fjord a constant, comforting presence that fills you with wonder and awe. You guide your vessel through the calm, sheltered waters. The rhythm of the waves a steady, soothing lullaby that cradles you in its gentle, familiar embrace. You are at peace. The beauty of the fjord a constant, comforting presence that fills you with a deep, abiding sense of contentment and tranquility. You stand with your feet planted in the shallow cradle of the longship's timbers, and the fjord air touches your cheeks like cold cloth. You feel the wet wood beneath your boot slick with salt and age, while a thin mist beads on the lashings and turns the world into pale glass. You breathe in the sharp, clean smell of seawater and old tar, and it settles in your throat as seabirds wheel overhead, their eerie calls threading the quiet like bells heard through fog. You watch the oarlocks, dark and polished by use, and you see the dim light sliding across them in slow bands, gray-blue and steady, as if the sky itself keeps time. You are Orvaldi's hands for a moment, and you listen with your whole body as the ship shifts and settles, a soft creak of nailed planks that never quite stops. You taste salt on your lips, faint and metallic, and you feel it dry there, turning every breath into something briny and clear. You look toward the bow where the water lies flat, then startled small ripples spreading outward like thoughts you can't hold, while the wind carries the gulls' cries and the gentle hiss of spray against the hull. You keep your shoulders relaxed because the world here is familiar. The carved stem, the braided ropes, the sheltered belly of the boat wrapped around you like a dependable cradle. Orvaldi checks the oars the way a careful person checks a sleeping child. Slowly, without hurry, with the patience of someone who knows wood and well. You see his fingers working, thickened by cold running along the blade, where the grain tightens like lines in old leather. You feel the roughness of the wood under his touch, the tiny ridges where salt has eaten and dried, and you smell the sharp tang of fresh, wet timber mixed with the darker perfume of pitch. You hear the quiet tick of droplets falling from the oar's edge, and you hear the ship's steady settling beneath you, as if the fjord itself is breathing. Then you watch closely as he lifts one oar and angles it so the light slides across the face. You see the faint sheen of seawater trapped in the ground, and you notice the small, tired places where stress has begun to whisper. You hear a dry, careful sound splintering woodonium again, like a twig breaking in a harp, and the noise is so small that it feels almost gentle, almost like the timber is admitting its wear. You feel the vibration travel through the oar into your palm, and you feel your own breath punch and release with it, because even peace requires attention. Orvaldi does not think. He steadies, and you find your steadiness following his, as though your body remembers how to be safe. You watch him move to the next oar at the same time, smell seawater cooling on the air, and you smell tar warming slightly where it has been touched by sun, and then replaced by wind-familiar odors that settle your mind. You hear seabirds shift on the rocks, feet scraping softly, and the distant clatter of a small wave breaking along a hidden shore. You see the water's color change along the hull, a bruised green near deeper shadow, a pale silver where the sky brightens. You feel your hands hover over the wood warmth at first, then gradually remembering Orvaldi's inspection turns into a kind of quiet ritual. He checks the lashings too, and you notice how the ropes look like braided hair, taut and honest. You feel the hemp fibers under your gaze, and you hear their quiet creak when you test them with a light pole. You smell wet rope earthy and salty together, and you taste dryness on your tongue because the wind keeps the air crisp. You watch him press a knot with a thumb until it settles into place, and you see how his posture protects the wreck. Spine aligned, shoulders low, movement controlled. The longship around you feels dependent, wrapped in its own geometry, each beam holding another beam the way winds hold flat. Orvaldi's cloak hangs heavy when the mist thickens, and you can see it darken with moisture. You feel cold trying to creep into the seams of your clothing-free sleeves, through the collar where wind sneaks in like a thoughtful thief. Yet you feel the counterbalance as well. Warmth kept by wool, by layers tucked and folded, by the way you wrap yourself as if you are holding a small fire hose. You smell the wool after it has been pressed by salt air, faintly animal and smoky, like smoke that remembers a hug. You hear your own breath in your chest, and it is steady, because you are sheltered inside the boat's protected belly, held by the steadiness of practiced hands. You listen while the fjord quiets, and you notice how sound becomes a slow thing. The oars are laid down for the moment, and you feel the ships rest as a gentle rocking under your thighs. You hear the soft slap of water against the hull patient, repetitive like a lullaby that never changes its rhythm. You see light thinning toward late morning, gray and cool, and you watch mist curl around the gunwale like breath turning to white lace. You taste salt again, then the faint bitterness of old pitch rising with the wind, and you understand that survival begins with noticing these small tastes. Orvaldi guides precious cargo with the same careful attention, and you can feel the weight of that duty without needing it to threaten you. You see the bundles, hides wrapped tight, the edges tucked and bound so they sit like sleeping shapes beneath the boards. You feel the air around them more still, as if the goods are asking for calm, not haste. You smell their leather and stored old seams and darkened by use, and you hear a whisper of movement when the ship shifts, a gentle settling rather than a cloud. You watch Orvaldi check the way the cargo sits, not with fear, but with the quiet confidence of someone who knows what steady means. You also feel the fjord's psychological pressure, even in peace, the knowledge that days are measured by water and weather, by time set holding to a line you cannot see. You hear seabirds call farther out, and the sound seems like a thread pulling at your thoughts. You feel your mind settle anyway, following Orvaldi's patient movements. You keep your breathing unclenched when the cold bites, because you do not waste warmth on pain. You press into the familiar positions, sheltered under overhang, tucked where wind has less reach, wrapped in wool and held steady by the boat's quiet structure. When Orvaldi reaches for another oar, you watch him do it gently, as if he is lifting something that could bruise. You feel the wood in your imagination grain under skin, rough where salt has dried, while the real oar rests within your sight, carved and familiar. You hear the smallest creaks of the longship's fittings, and you feel the air remain calm, because you are not forcing anything. You smell the sea and tar and wet wood in an even blend, and you see the horizon soft, no sharp threat, only the long curve of land and water meeting at the edge of light. You remember the old warning that hangs in the back of your thoughts Fjord guides died young, their graves swallowed by the waves. And yet here, in this moment, you feel comfort instead of dread. You feel protected by attention, by practice, by the warm knowledge carried in Orvaldi's hands. You hear the seabirds calling from somewhere beyond your reach, and you let their eerie sound become merely part of the fjord's music. You breathe in, slow and full, salt and smoke and wood, and you feel the world hold you steady as the ship rests in the quiet, waiting for the next careful check. You are Orvaldi, the fjord guide, nestled safely in the sturdy, familiar curves of your wooden longship. The ship is cradled softly by the gentle, rolling waves, the water lapping against the hull in a steady, rhythmic dance. The air is salty and cold, the scent of brine and seaweed filling your lungs with each slow, deep breath. The wind is light today, a mere whisper against your skin, carrying with it the faint cries of gulls circling high above, their silhouettes dark against the pale, overcast sky. You feel the weight of the wooden steering oar in your hands, its surface smooth and worn from years of use, the grain of the wood a familiar comfort beneath your fingertips. The oar creaks softly as you make small adjustments, guiding the ship through the narrow, winding canal. The water here is deep and dark, its surface rippling with the movement of unseen fish and the playful dips of seals. The cliffs on either side rise high and steep, their faces a mix of green moss and jagged rock, the occasional waterfall cascading down to meet the hungry sea. The ship is laden with precious cargo, the weight settled and steady beneath your feet. The wood of the deck is worn smooth by time and use, the cracks and crevices filled with the stories of countless voyages. You can hear the soft creak of the timbers, the gentle groan of the hull as it moves through the water. The sails are furled, the ropes coiled neatly, their hemp rough and sturdy in your hands. You take a sip from your wooden cup, the mead warm and sweet on your tongue, the honeyed flavor a comforting contrast to the cold, salty air. The cup is well made, the wood carved with intricate patterns, the finish smooth and polished. It is a gift from a grateful trader, a token of appreciation for your skill and bravery. The day is quiet. The only sounds the soft lap of water against the hull, the distant cries of seabirds, and the occasional call of a sea. The sky is a blanket of gray, the clouds thick and heavy, promising rain but holding it at bay for now. The light is soft and diffuse, the world bathed in a gentle, muted glow. You feel the wind pick up slightly, the chills seeping into your bones, but you are wrapped in a thick woolen cloak, the warmth and weight a comforting shield against the cold. The cloak is a familiar comfort, its texture rough but soft, the wool spun and woven by your own hands. You take a deep breath, the scent of the sea filling your lungs, the cold air sharp and invigorating. The fjord stretches out before you, the water choppy but not yet dangerous. You know these waters like the back of your hand, each twist and turn a familiar path. You are safe here, nestled in the heart of the fjord, guided by the steady hand of experience and the unwavering eye of the seasoned guide. The oars are ready, their blades dipped in the water, the wood smooth and strong. The sound of the water against the oars is a soft, steady rhythm, a lullaby of the sea. You feel the pull of the current, the water pushing against the oars, but you are steady and strong, your muscles honed by years of labor. The day wears on, the sky darkening as the clouds thicken. The first drops of rain begin to fall, the sound a soft patter against the wood of the ship. You are sheltered beneath the cloak, the rain a gentle drumbeat against the thick wood. The scent of the rain is fresh and clean, the drops cool and refreshing on your skin. You feel the ship glide smoothly through the water, the current strong but predictable. The fjord is a volatile mistress, but you are her faithful servant, your heart steadied by the rhythm of the waves. The cargo is secure, the ship steady, and you are wrapped in the comfort of familiarity and the safety of skill. The rain intensifies, the drops now a steady stream, but you are protected, the cloak a sturdy shield against the elements. The sound of the rain is a soothing melody, the rhythm steady and calming. The water is cold, the spray a sharp contrast to the warmth of the cold. But you are prepared, your boots waterproof, your clothes layered against the chill. The fjord is a labyrinth of twists and turns, but you are a guide, your path steadied by the unwavering hand of experience. The cliffs loom high and steep, their faces a mix of green and gray, the waterfalls a roaring symphony of nature's power. The water is deep and dark, the current strong but not yet treacherous. You feel the wind in your bones, the chills seeping into your very core, but you are warm and sheltered, the cloak a comforting embrace. The sound of the wind is a soft whistle, the rhythm steady and soothing. The sky is a blanket of gray, the clouds thick and heavy, the rain a steady drumbeat against the wood of the ship. You are Orvaldi, the fjord guide, a master of the volatile waters, a servant of the sea. The fjord is your home, the waves your companions, and the wind your guide. You are safe here, nestled in the heart of the fjord, the world quiet and calm, the rhythm of the sea a steady, comforting lullaby. You are Orvaldi, the fjord guide, nestled safely within the sturdy hull of your well-crafted knot, the cold morning air nipping at your nose as you exhale, watching your breath mingle with the salty sea mist. The sun is a pale, watery disk, barely risen above the jagged peaks that cradle the fjord, its light diffused by the low, heavy clouds that press down upon the water, their gray bellies swollen with the promise of rain. You are wrapped snugly in your woolen cloak, the familiar weight of it a comfort against the chill, the rough leaves scratching gently at your skin. The scent of damp wood and salt water fills your nostrils, the taste of it sharp and briny on your tongue. The sea is calm today, its surface a slate gray, broken only by the gentle lapping of waves against the hull, the rhythmic creak of the oarlocks as your crew moves in unison, their breaths misting in the cold air. You can hear the distant cries of seabirds, their calls echoing off the sheer cliffs that rise from the water like ancient sentinels, the sound of their wings cutting through the air a soft, whispering rustle. The oars dip and rise, the splintered wood smooth under your calloused hands, the rhythm of their movement a steady, soothing cadence that resonates through the ship. You feel the warmth of the sun on your face, a weak but welcome touch, its rays barely penetrating the cloud cover, but enough to take the edge off the cold. You can see the frost still clinging to the rigging, the ice crystals glittering like diamonds in the pale light, the breath of your crew forming small, fleeting clouds that dissipate into the damp air. You are safe here, in the heart of the fjord, the familiar contours of the coastline a comforting sight, the water a steady, reliable presence beneath you. The cargo holds are full, the precious cargo of furs and timber carefully stored. The scent of pine and animal must be familiar, reassuring smell. You can hear the soft rustle of the firs as the ship rocks gently with the movement of the water, the creak of the timber a steady, comforting sound. You are protected here, cradled within the sturdy walls of your ship, the crew a familiar, trusted presence, their voices a low murmur as they work. You take a sip from your horn of mead, the warm, sweet liquid a welcome comfort against the cold, the taste of honey and fermented barley a familiar, soothing flavor. You can feel the warmth of it spreading through your chest, a steady, comforting heat that chases away the chill. You are nestled here, safe and secure, the world outside a distant, indistinct blur, the only reality the steady, familiar rhythm of the ship and the crew. The fjord stretches out before you, its waters a steady, reliable presence, the cliffs rising like ancient guardians on either side. You can see the frost still clinging to the rocks, the ice crystals catching the pale light of the sun, the water a deep, dark blue in the shadows of the cliffs. You are sheltered here, protected from the storm, the fjord a safe haven in a world of uncertainty. You feel the warmth of the sun on your face, the steady, familiar rhythm of the ship a comforting presence, the crew a trusted, reliable force. You are safe here, nestled within the heart of the fjord, The world outside a distant, indistinct blur. You take another sip of mead. The warm, sweet liquid a welcome comfort against the cold. The taste of honey and fermented barley a familiar, soothing flavor. The sea is calm today, its surface a slate gray, broken only by the gentle lapping of waves against the hull, the rhythmic creak of the oarlocks a steady, soothing cadence. You can hear the distant cries of seabirds, their calls echoing off the sheer cliffs that rise from the water like ancient sentinels, the sound of their wings cutting through the air a soft, whispering rustle. You are safe here, in the heart of the fjord, the familiar contours of the coastline a comforting sight, the water a steady, reliable presence beneath you. You feel the warmth of the sun on your face, the steady, familiar rhythm of the ship a comforting presence, the crew a trusted, reliable force. You are safe here, nestled within the heart of the fjord, the world outside a distant, indistinct blur. You take another sip of mead. The warm, sweet liquid a welcome comfort against the cold. The taste of honey and fermented barley a familiar, soothing flavor. The fjord stretches out before you, its waters a steady, reliable presence, the cliffs rising like ancient guardians on either side. You can see the frost still clinging to the rocks, the ice crystals catching the pale light of the sun, the water a deep, dark blue in the shadows of the cliffs. You are sheltered here, protected from the storm, the fjord a safe haven in a world of uncertainty. You feel the warmth of the sun on your face, the steady, familiar rhythm of the ship a comforting presence, the crew a trusted, reliable force. You are safe here, nestled within the heart of the fjord, the world outside a distant, indistinct blur. You take another sip of mead. The warm, sweet liquid a welcome comfort against the cold. The taste of honey and fermented barley a familiar, soothing flavor. The sea is calm today, its surface a slate gray, broken only by the gentle lapping of waves against the hull, the rhythmic creak of the oarlocks a steady, soothing cadence. You can hear the distant cries of seabirds, their calls echoing off the sheer cliffs that rise from the water like ancient sentinels, the sound of their wings cutting through the air a soft, whispering rustle. You are safe here, in the heart of the fjord, the familiar contours of the coastline a comforting sight, the water a steady, reliable presence beneath you. You feel the warmth of the sun on your face, the steady, familiar rhythm of the ship a comforting presence, the crew a trusted, reliable force. You are safe here, nestled within the heart of the fjord, the world outside a distant, indistinct blur. You take another sip of mead. The warm, sweet liquid a welcome comfort against the cold. The taste of honey and fermented barley a familiar, soothing flavor. The fjord stretches out before you, its waters a steady, reliable presence, the cliffs rising like ancient guardians on either side. You can see the frost still clinging to the rocks, the ice crystals catching the pale light of the sun, the water a deep, dark blue in the shadows of the cliffs. You are sheltered here, protected from the storm, the fjord a safe haven in a world of uncertainty. You feel the warmth of the sun on your face, the steady, familiar rhythm of the ship a comforting presence, the crew a trusted, reliable force. You are safe here, nestled within the heart of the fjord, the world outside a distant, indistinct blur. You take another sip of mead. The warm, sweet liquid a welcome comfort against the cold. The taste of honey and fermented barley a familiar, soothing flavor. You lie back as evening settles into the fjord like a slow, soft blanket, and you feel the damp wool against your skin thick, pilled, and warm where it touches your chest, while the air tastes faintly of salt and old timber, and your nostrils catch a thin thread of smoke from a sheltered lamp burning low in the distance. You watch the light fade from hard pewter to gentle ash blue, and you listen to seabirds calling somewhere out on the water, their voices thin and eerie yet strangely far, like someone speaking through cloth, and the calls drift past with the hush of wind that never fully arrives. You keep still, because stillness here is protection, and your breath comes easy and steady, and you feel it with your own ribs, soft and patient, as if your body is cradled in the same calm that holds the boat. The planks beneath you are rough with pitch and wear, slightly tacky where the old resin was worn, and the smell of it rises every time the craft shifts a little, slow as a sleeping animal. You hear the faint slap of water against the hull, not a splash but a gentle tapping, and you see the wake far behind you turning dull and colorless, the surface smoothing until it looks like dark glass. You notice the oars laid across the fjord, their splintering worn edges pressed into calm northern cool, and when you touch them, you feel the grain under your fingertip hard bands of old growth, ridged where salt has dried, while the air carries the sharp, clean tang of sea spray that is soaked into everything. You watch droplets cling to the oar's handle like beads of cold wood, and you hear the last little creaks of strained teamwork, small sounds that feel like settling rather than breaking. Even the taste of the air feels like cold metal and brine, as if you are tasting the fjord itself, and you let yourself be held by that familiar flavor. You are wrapped close and sheltered, and the warmth stays near, fed by a low fire touch where wind can't steal it, and you smell its sweet smoke mixed with the faint sourness of damp hides and the clean, earthy scent of peat ash. You watch the flames glow wobble against a sail edge or a folded plank, and the moving light makes the shadows on the boat's interior sway like slow waterfalls. You listen as the seabirds quiet one by one, not abruptly, but in the way a crowd becomes silent when everyone has gone home, and you hear only the hush of breath, your breath, slow and steady, patient as a guide's word. You think of Orvaldi the fjord guide, how you hear his footsteps without fear, how you sense his presence as a steady warmth near your shoulders, and you see him in the dimness as a darker shape by the fire, shoulders squared but calm, hands careful with knots and lashes. You feel the boat's steadiness through the gentle rocking, and you smell the honest work of his tools, rough rope fiber, oil smeared on wood, and the faint sour note of wet leather. You hear him speak softly to the craft, not commanding, only acknowledging, and you watch his eyes catch the fading light as he checks the same small things again and again, because repetition is what keeps you safe. You listen to the sea itself, and it offers no sudden lurch, only a slow breathing flow, withdrawing, so that the hull rises a finger's width and falls again. You feel that rhythm in your palms where you rest them, and the salt in the air makes your lips taste dry and clean. You see the water's surface take on a thin skin of silver gray, then darken to a bluish black as clouds cover what little sun remains. And you hear the distant creak of a line or the soft knock of wood on wood, small and regular, like a heartbeat that never hurts. You let Orvaldi's gentleness settle into you, because you realize his care is not loud, not frantic, but steady, like a hand that guides without gripping too hard. You watch his fingers move over a folded cover, smoothing it so it lies even, and you feel the warmth of the protected space where the cover holds heat close to your body. You smell the dampness of the fjord, yes, but softened now by smoke and by the closeness of wool, and you hear the low murmur of the fire eating its heat, a quiet crackle that sounds like tiny spark sound. You taste nothing sharp, only the faint salt that lingers on your tongue as the air cools. You notice how he makes the stillness a craft, how he takes care with his breathing too, as if his lungs are another tool made for long, quiet work. You see him pause and stand, then settle again, and you feel the boat's movement match his calm, small adjustments that keep you sheltered and steady. You hear seabirds far away again, one call stretching longer than the last, and you watch the sky dim to a deep, bruised color without any drama, only the slow closing of eyes. The smell of wet stone from the shore drifts in when the wind shifts, cool and mineral, and your skin prickles slightly before warmth returns, cradling you. You drift deeper, because there is nothing to do but receive. You feel the cloth against your neck held in place by a cord, snug but not tight, and you sense the texture of its coarse wool, softened by use, with a faint roughness that comforts you like an old blanket. You smell smoke and salt and wood pitch all mingled together until the air feels like a warm room built out of sea and fire. You hear the last gentle clatter as something settles, then silence so smooth it becomes another sound. And you see the light thinning into a few pale stripes along the gun, then fading entirely into night. You remember, with a soft shiver that never turns into fear, the old warnings you have heard how fjord guides die young, how waves swallow graves. Yet in this moment you feel protected, held, nestled, because Orvaldi keeps the world orderly with careful attention. You sense his trust in every motion that is slow enough to be measured, and you see his hands checking lashings without panic, tightening only what needs tightening. You hear no shouting, no rushing, only the steady, patient rhythm of water against wood and the faint, eerie calling of seabirds that comes and goes like a lullaby. You taste brine in the back of your throat, but it is softened now by warmth from the fire and by the food you swallowed earlier in small, steady bites. You let your breathing follow the fjord's rhythm, and you feel yourself swaying gently, swayed rather than rocked, as if you are being tucked into place. Your eyelids grow heavy, and the cold that touched your cheeks earlier now feels distant, replaced by a steady warmth kept safe under cloaks. You smell the peat smoke settling into the fabric, lingering like a promise, and you listen as the night deepens, swallowing the last scraps of light into a uniform dark. You see only the dim glow around Orvaldi and the faint shimmer on the water, and you hear only the soft tapping of waves, the quiet settling of splintered wood, and your own breath, patient and calm, until the world becomes stillness you can sink into safe, sheltered, cradled without strain. You do not fight sleep. You welcome it the way warm hands welcome a cold body, and you feel the boat hold you steady as the fjord quiets further, wrapped in night. You breathe in salt and smoke and pitch, and you breathe out slowly, as if letting the day be carried away. You hear one last seabird call, far and thin, and then even that fades, leaving only the soft hush of water, the gentle creak of timber, and the comforting fact that someone careful is watching someone named Orvaldi, who keeps your precious cargo of breath and trust safe in the stillness. You are nestled in the bow of your sturdy mouth, the night wrapping around you like a thick, woolen cloak, the cold air biting at your cheeks, but the heavy furs you're wrapped in keeping you safe and warm. The moon hangs low, a silver coin tossed carelessly into the sky, its light shimmering on the dark water, painting the waves with a soft, ethereal glow. The scent of salt and damp wood fills your nostrils, the familiar, comforting smell of the fjord at night, the quiet lapping of water against the hull a steady, soothing rhythm. You can taste the salt on your lips, the faint metallic tang mixing with the lingering flavor of smoked fish and meat from your evening meal. The oars are stowed, their work done for the night, the splintered wood smoothed by years of use, cool and rough under your fingers as you trace the grain absent-mindedly. The night is alive with sound, the eerie calls of seabirds echoing across the water, their cries soft and mournful, a haunting lullaby that sends shivers down your spine. The wind whispers through the rigging, a soft, mournful sigh that blends with the creaking of the ship, the timbers groaning gently as they settle, the sound deep and resonant, like the heartbeat of an old friend. The air is still, the water calm, the fjord holding its breath, the only movement the gentle rocking of the ship, the steady, slow rise and fall that lulls you into a sense of peace, of safety. The light of the moon is gentle, its glow soft and diffuse, the shadows long and deep, the world bathed in a silver haze. The mountains loom in the distance, their peaks sharp against the night sky, the snow glinting like diamonds under the moonlight. The water is still, the surface like glass, the reflection of the moon shimmering, the ripples spreading out from the ship, tiny waves that disappear into the darkness, the fjord holding them, cradling them, the water warm and inviting, the cold of the night kept at bay. You are safe here, wrapped in the warmth of your furs, the ship steady under you, the night quiet and still. The mead you drank earlier, sweet and strong, hums gently in your veins, a warm, comforting buzz that relaxes your muscles, the tension of the day melting away. The ship is nestled in a small cove, sheltered from the wind, the water calm, the night peaceful. You can feel the warmth of the furs, the softness of the wool against your skin, the weight of them a comforting presence, a barrier against the cold. The night is long, the hours stretching out before you, the time yours to do with as you will. You can feel the fatigue in your muscles, the weariness of the day's journey, the rowing, the steering, the constant vigilance, all fading now. The night wrapping around you, holding you, the ship cradling you, the fjord keeping you safe. The moon is high, its light bright, the stars scattered across the sky like diamonds, the constellations familiar, the night sky a map that guides you, that protects you. The water is quiet, the waves gentle, the fjord holding its breath, the night still. You can hear the distant cry of a seabird, the sound soft and mournful, the echo fading into the night. The wind is calm, the air still, the night peaceful. You are safe here, nestled in the bow of your ship, the night wrapping around you, the fjord holding you, the moon guiding you. The warmth of the furs, the softness of the wool, the steady rocking of the ship, the quiet lapping of water against the hull, all combine to lull you into a sense of peace, of safety, of comfort. The night is long, the hours stretching out before you, the time yours to do with as you will. You can feel the fatigue in your muscles, the weariness of the day's journey, the rowing, the steering, the constant vigilance, all fading now. The night wrapping around you, holding you, the ship cradling you, the fjord keeping you safe. The moon is high, its light bright, the stars scattered across the sky like diamonds, the constellations familiar, the night sky a map that guides you, that protects you. The water is quiet, the waves gentle, the fjord holding its breath, the night still. You can hear the distant cry of a seabird, the sound soft and mournful, the echo fading into the night. The wind is calm, the air still, the night peaceful. You are safe here, nestled in the bow of your ship, the night wrapping around you, the fjord holding you, the moon guiding you. The warmth of the furs, the softness of the wool, the steady rocking of the ship, the quiet lapping of water against the hull, all combine to lull you into a sense of peace, of safety, of comfort. The night is long, the hours stretching out before you, the time yours to do with as you will. You can feel the fatigue in your muscles, the weariness of the day's journey, the rowing, the steering, the constant vigilance, all fading now. The night wrapping around you, holding you, the ship cradling you, the fjord keeping you safe. The moon is high, its light bright, the stars scattered across the sky like diamonds, the constellations familiar, the night sky a map that guides you, that protects you.